in all my years of judging. All right, so I decided to combine the M1070 and 1570 into one review because all everyone's going to ask is, Zio, should I buy this or this? What are the differences between this and this? And I'm just going to shove it on one video and waste a day. So I do daily videos on this channel, if you don't know, in case you have forgotten. And wasting a day is important. It means something. Because I'm going to talk about both of these. I'm going to call them impressive and incredibly flawed at the same time. Because that's Monoprice's mantra. Now, I sit here before you. Here's the case, real quick. Because I just want to show you this fucking UFO of absurdity. I thought we got rid of the giant case, and it's not the same one from like the M1060, because I'm pretty sure the shape has changed. But at the same time, it's just as absurd, and no one would ever travel with that. So that's useless. This does come with 2 sets of pads. Each one comes with 2 sets of pads. You get these actually really nice, like properly nice memory foam pleather. They're not real leather. They're protein leather, but they're soft and they're thick. And that's part of the problem. We'll get to some of the problems because we're going to get to them. But on their own, if you're like, oh, who made these pads? Are they Odyssey pads? They feel a little bit cheaper than Odyssey pads, but they're nice. And then they come with these pads, which I was confused because these are made out of like, I don't know how to describe this velour. Non-memory foam, just, I mean, they're thick in like AKG levels of thickness, but they're very strange to come with these headphones. And yet, you'll notice my M1070s are using them because they're a very soft velour. They're like child's toy bear velour, all right? We're not talking about headphones anymore. We're talking about children's toys, and if you had like a snuggly little bear as a kid, if it felt like this, that'd be amazing. So that's the two pairs of pads it comes with. We're gonna have to talk about wires. We're gonna have to talk about weight. We're gonna talk about build. Oh, get yourself something to drink and probably something strong. How do I start this? Do I start with the M1070 or do I start with the 1570? Because they're Actually, I'll start with both of them had this problem. Do you see how far apart the current pads are sitting? I did this. When you take them out of that box, there is no clamp on these headphones. That is major flaw 1. So did I mention they sound very good, like amazingly good? And they're quite expensive. And I will link to them both on Monoprice and on Amazon below. But let me tell you about the flaws. They both, like this defaulted to like that size, and this was like that size as well. And this weighs 690 grams, 680. If you don't know how much that is, it's basically as much as a Buick. They're 40 grams heavier than LCDX. If you've ever had a set of Odysseys, and you're like, God, these are heavy headphones. No, they're not. These are heavy headphones. These are like almost 200 grams lighter, and it's got to do with the magnet structure. It's not really due to the headband, considering they're identical, and the pads, when they're on the same, are identical. So it's all about the magnetic structure and the actual stuff that's making sound go. So and I was told that they had to work extra hard to get it that light. These were even heavier. I can't even fathom that, because I've been sitting here now doing my prep for this review, and I'm okay wearing the M1070s. They're okay. They're fine. And I dread putting these back on because my neck, and I'm a person who has to put a lot of... I wear a camera on my head for like 7 hours during a live stream. Yet wearing these for like 30 minutes is like a strain of my structural integrity. And now the big problem with that was they both came with no clamp. No clamp. Like no clamp. Like you put them on, oh, they float there. But they weigh as much as like 2 really nice dress shoes filled with those wooden stretchers. So if you turned your head, they either stayed where they were because the planetary gravity would just hold them in place, and if you look down, they would just fall. So I had to fix the clamp. And the problem with that is this is not a headband that looks like you can fix the clamp. So I was doing some really adverse shit with this top piece, because this definitely has some metal in it. And I'm like doing that, which if this hurts your soul, it should. I didn't buy these. I'm borrowing these and I'm sending them back. But I was like, And then I realized, due to the way it's built, these metal extensions that pivot there's a little, like, what was it? What was the name of the evil army from Dragon Ball Z? Red Rocket? Red Rocket? Red Robot? I don't know, but it looks like their symbol, like the little infinity symbol. It just slides in and out of there. And lucky for me, this is made of pig iron, so I could just go, whoop, whoop. I should not be able to do that on a headphone that costs as much as these headphones, especially this one, which costs a lot. But going whoop, and that does not take much effort. That is a one finger fuck up. Like, it doesn't, like, holy shit. Please get better metals. But then again, if they got better metals, I couldn't fix that, the clamp problem. So let's all just assume that this was done on purpose so that you could perfectly fit it to your head. So both of these have had their headbands as tight as I can manipulate them without smashing the drivers and breaking it, because we are still dealing with a monoprice level of build quality. As much as these are more expensive and better in the overarching scheme of all things monoprice, build is still a fucking issue. And the fact that I can just, like, whoop, helps and hurts real bad. So at least I could take it out and go, oh, you know what I need this to do? I need this to be like there. Like I could bend this. I could bend everything. Feels like it's about half the gauge it needs to be. I can't think of another headphone where I could just take it, I'm going to bend this metal now. Just bend it. Just whoop. So, luckily for us, that fixes the clamp issue. Because now, when you put them on the table, look, there is clamp. I've adjusted it to have clamp. Of course, wearing them is probably going to stretch that metal out because it's so weak, and then you're going to have to bend it back in. And you know what happens when you bend metal back and forth a bunch of times? And nothing. It's perfectly fine. After dozens of times and years, it's great. So I had to do that for both, especially for these, because they fat boys. And once I got them to sort of sit in my head where I was comfortable, or at least understanding of it, the next thing I did was change the pads out on this pair. The 1070s did not blow me away for their $400 price compared to other planars and compared to even my M1070Cs with the open back. And it was the pad's fault. As soon as I was like, oh, these sound a little bit hollow, and they're trying too hard and they sound muffled, and then I changed to these soft velour pads, which look how nicely that sits now. And I put this on, and now it's like, yes, this is the artist's intention. The people who designed the sound at Monoprice got it fucking perfect. These M1070s are an amazing... If you now have the option, because those Sivga P2s exist, you could have Sivga P2s, you could have Blonde B20s, you could have M1070s, as long as you can get past them. And they're all amazing reference planars. Sundaras or these is a hard choice for me. That is saying some shit. Because I love my Sundaras. They're up there and I love them. They're a different sound though. The Sundaras are very light and airy and somehow wide, even though they have very narrow pads, and they just sounded natural. And these aren't aiming for that. These are closer to like LCD2, LCDX than I was imagining they could be, but only with the soft velour pads. With the big pads, I just put them back on. I've had them on for weeks, the soft pads. I've accepted these headphones into my heart, and just before this review, I'm like, all right, I got to put back the actual velour pads that they come, not the velour pads, but the actual pleather pads they come with. And about 4 minutes into a song, I'm like, oh no. And I just put the soft pads back on. So if you do get these, which I'm not telling you not to do because they're at the perfect price point for a headphone this big and this good sounding. Let me explain what good sounding means. Let me get this very tight clamping headphone back on my, let me adjust it a bit. Because it's not light. Blondes, the Sendis, the Sivgas, all those fit better. But with these softer, thinner pads, thinner being the key word, you bring the center of gravity in, you get that clamp going. Oh. Billy Joel, the entertainer, hold on. high gain. $305. Okay, all right. These are spectacular sounding. Now, we've worked through the flaws. They're not built very well. The headband isn't exactly... Like, I don't get it. Monoprice can do this. Everything in here, from here to there, is great. But then you come out of there and it's like, this is better than we had. It's the same headband as the M1570, which is a $300 headphone. And it's like a thick one. It's thick, but it's soft, I guess. But it's actually lacking padding here. There's no padding on the top. Well, there's padding, but at least it seems more biased under. Where I think my M570, didn't I complain that the padding was half on top, which doesn't matter, and half on the bottom, and it should have been thicker at the bottom. So at least I got that sort of sorted. But it doesn't feel supportive enough. In fact, even from the short period of time I've worn these, I've already, like, broken it in. Which that should take a long time. This pair, the 1070, uses standard 3.5mm inputs. God bless America. Or... I guess China, I don't know, but that's so nice to have. You don't have to have some sort of weird, stupid connector that no one else has. I have 75 of these cables, and I could use any one of them for this. It's great. And here's the best part about the M1070: it comes with a cable that I'd actually use. Look at this thing. It's not super thick. It's got beautiful machined knurled metal. It's got a screw-on adapter for the 3.5mm that. For some reason, the actual connector here is smaller than the adapters, so that's the first time I've seen that. So it actually makes this look fat, so you actually hit the edge of it. But then it goes to this fabric cable that's not too soft, not too stiff. It's actually pretty good. Metal Y-split into, I might call these a little bit short for like the Y-split. I like a longer split, but it's a personal thing. And then it goes back to aluminum, and it's got beautiful red heat shrink there to indicate right and left, and then it says L and R on it, very clearly indicated. This is a great wire. Monoprice, you did a good job on this wire. This is perfect. In fact, I'm so glad you put the standard 3.5mm connector on both of these headphones, because why would you even try to change? Oh, you didn't. Oh, you put XLR. Now, I'm not going to go insanely crazy about this. Okay, lots of headphones use XLR or mini XLR. Odyssey uses them. ZMF uses them. They're out there. They're out there. They're out there. But I couldn't understand why they were so insistent on giving me the balance cable, because the 1570s come with this much more periapt-like cable. Like, oh, there you go. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful 1/4 inch with the handle and a thicker, obviously stiffer wire. Chewbacca made a boom booms. Stiffer wire, and then it goes to the split, and even the split's like thicker because it has to go to thicker cables. Like, it looks like this was all nicely planned out. In fact, is this? No, it's all 3 different sizes. So 1070s come with a nice fucking cable. The 1570s come with, dare I say, maybe even a nicer cable? Like, this is periapt, like add-on, like I'm actually going to spend money on a cable. This would be what you get. It's a little stiffer than that, but I'm okay with it. And then Monoprice sends me their balanced cable. And they're like, here, you got to use this for that. And frankly, can I just point out, this connection, this 4-pin, I love, like, the grip hold there. I've never seen one that has it narrow down there so you could actually hold it, and it's got a strain relief boot, and it's as thick as that, or is this even thicker? It's the same thickness, and it just goes, and it's beautiful, and it's beautiful, and it's beautiful. And then today, and that's all I've been using, because why would I use any other cable? And then today I sit down and I open up and I'm looking for links, because I have to open the website so I could see, okay, there's the 1070 on Amazon. There's the 1070 on Amazon. There's a 1570 on Amazon, but wait, why has it got a 2-star rating? And I don't read reviews. That's not my thing. I don't like want to know what anybody else, any other reviewer thinks. I don't even want to know what Amazon people think. But I was curious because there's only one review of this $618 headphone on Amazon. Okay sound, but too heavy and gimped connectors. And I'm like, gimped connectors? But these are, I mean, maybe his pair didn't actually work. And then I read, and he's like, the cable is also like Odyssey, but using different pins, which is kind of stupid. As 2 or 3 companies use the same pins and interchangeable cables. And I went, what? Because I haven't tried them with a different cable. And then I take out my Ursine cable, which I've used in everything. I use it on Odyssey, ZM, everything, because this is a standard connector. And I plug it into this, and I plug it into this wire, and there's no sound coming out of it. So why on God's green, brown, burning earth, Monoprice, would you make a proprietary connector of a standard connector that works only with your headphones? And I know they did this because on the Monoprice site for the 1570, you scroll down and there's 2 little, it's under description, it's somewhere over here, is these two little links, XLR pinout. And you click on it and there's this terrible 2-second drawn thing, and it shows 1 goes there and 2 goes there. And I don't build cables for a living, but that's basically saying, hey, by the way, we fucked up, and you're gonna have to build custom cables if you want to use custom cables specifically with our headphones. Just this pair. Why? Why? This was fine. 3.5 millimeter was fine. I would have been so happy. There's no logical reason to do a change. Either make them both the same and both obviously normal, or both 3.5. Why? Is it just to sell only your balance cable? Because that's a dick move, and I will say it's a dick move. Dick move. I feel like that could be a rap song. Someone will remix that, I'm sure. That's just cables. Are we done with the cable talk now? Because it's just that angered the shit out of me, and it angered me today, so it's fresh. This 1070 is absolutely, you get past that like wonky bending and you need to get it in there. Once you get it on, once you get these pads on, I haven't tried a million other pads. Once you get it settled and straightforward, and this, and you power it, and it needs a little bit more power than like the older planars, you are going to be happy. That's all I'm here to tell you. I think you'll be happy. I think the low end kick. I'll kick around some more. That's a Bach. Mob Psycho. All right, this has got some real, like, they are an epic sounding headphone. How's that for a description? They're not very wide. In fact, taking off these pads, whatever little width they had has now been essentially removed. But by removing the width and getting them closer and into these pads, you gain all the intimacy and detail. They basically compete directly with Sendiivas. I love this pair of headphones because of that. And they sound big without sounding extra wide and therefore losing detail. Like I'm immersed in sound with these. And the weight, again, while being heavy, I think, let me get the actual, that's the weight of LCD-X is 635. The weight of these is, where is it? Why can't they put everything on one page? Why do you do this to me? I think it's 680. But I should talk about that for a second. $415. What was I just talking about? I've lost my whole train of thought. Whatever. Fuck trains. You know why? Because trucks. If you look up M1070, by the way, just typed it into Google, you get a model kit for a Hobby Boss M1070 M1000 HETS vehicle building model kit. That's badass looking. That's probably weighs as much as the 1570 if you're really like, oh, with the tank and everything. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. All right, back to whatever the hell I was talking about. Hold on a second. I had to make sure Chewbacca didn't poop on my floor. This is Z Reviews. Welcome to Z Reviews. Very serious business. But I had to go see what that was because that was atrocious. She might have eaten Mexican food last night. Where was I? Good, I don't remember either. Sound of these, absolutely 100% acceptable. And now with these pads, I'd say beats my M1070Cs with their expensive pads, with their open backs, with all the mods. Moving on to the 1570s. Again, we have to make sure that they're properly one finger bent. Oh, the weight. The weight. If you ever want to know what this is like, get 2 rolls of quarters and then get another 2 rolls of quarters and just put them on the outside of your fucking headphones. Because that's what it feels like. Because it isn't just a matter of they're heavy. It's a matter of these pads also move that weight way away from your head. So it kind of feels like if you put a whole bicycle on your head and you turned, you'd have to move all that momentum left and right of the wheel sticking out. They feel heavy. They don't get lost when you wear them. LCD X's, the pads get sort of soft and they have that really tight shaped headband, which I don't have here anymore. And it all sort of like comes in and you could lose them a bit. You never quite get comfortable with those big, heavy headphones. And these are the biggest, heaviest headphones. And it's all in here. It's all magnet structure. It all is for the quality of the sound. Now, unlike those, when I put these on, these pads don't sound hollow and lifeless. And just, it was bad. These were not the greatest headphones. Stock pads. These, however, put these back on with their proprietary fucking cable. And now, what sounded epic there sounds dramatic here. And I know these are not words, you know. What the hell is he talking about? Is he smoking crack? No, my cat took a poo and it smells real bad. Same effect on the neural system. Neurology? Neural? When this hits now, because I was just listening to this, and this has to do with the fact that I've changed to these pads, which breathe more. They let out a little bit of the impact, but I didn't like the way those sounded with the stock pads. So now we've got these pads, which don't sound muffled on this set. And when impact happens, it's like getting shot. If they want a kick drum to kick you in the head, it may as well just be actually happening. I can absolutely grasp. If this is the way they sold the M1070s with these pads, and this is the way they sold the 1570s with these pads, and you hook them both up balanced like I'm currently doing, give them the exact same amplification on the exact same DAC, the exact same song, I understand the price difference. There's a lot of shitty shit that's going to make you want to not buy these, like the wire, and the fact that you probably have to buy this one separately. I haven't verified that 100%. I don't believe it's going to come with the balanced cable. So that means you're going to be stuck with that cable, which is still a nice cable, but no, you can't change it. And actually, that one might interchange. I have to plug this one into something else just to see, because this is a balanced one and that would be an unbalanced, so they would be sharing a... doesn't matter. The fact that it needs a special cable for the balanced part of it is the nightmare. So, maintaining these pads, maintaining the width, getting a more intense mid-bass, the kick drum, the low end, that's where these live. And then you keep the sound stage, where these sort of had a little bit of sound stage, and then you take off the pads and you put the thinner pads on and you got like a little less. So it's fine, it's just fine. And I'm not looking for sound stage in every single headphone. That is not a judgment of a headphone. There's headphones up there that I love that have no sound stage. They're just intense, close detail. Sandy Iva's intense, close detail. That's fine. The Audio-Technica ATH 2000X, ATH AD 2000X. Without those pads, the stock pads are intense, close detail and no bass at all. And I still love them. But now these, if you're going to compete with if you're competing directly with Odyssey, which is what I believe Monoprice is trying to do, they are competing with Odyssey, and they're doing it for half price. So should we just expect these flaws? No. That's how you compete, by literally beating them in every facet. That's not a way to win. Because audio right now, the audio aspect of this headphone makes me think about LCD-X's and goes, I don't have a set here. It's been quite a while since I've heard them. Actually, Joe brought his set over while we were comparing amps. And I was like, God, these are good. And then I unpaused this. And I'm like, God, these are good. Like the way that the strings are playing out and the way that there's echo in the room I'm hearing it in. And it's just, these sound amazing. I could listen to these for hours if I tied helium balloons to them and they weighed less. Because I thought about maybe if I sat in a chair with like a headrest, if I could just rest my head. But it would still be there. It would always be there. And I think when they went with the light clamp, that was to try to like alleviate some of the pressure you feel from strapping basically a very lightweight racing helmet around your head. But it doesn't ever go away. And then the fact that I'm just as I move my head, the headphones lag behind because they weigh so much. So if I look left and right, when I turn right and stop, the headphones are continually trying to rip my head off. Maybe this is the price you pay for perfection, because they are fucking damn close to that. Like, I have no issues with this sound. The sound signature of these, for the price you pay when you put those pads on, is absolutely great. I'd 100% consider them over, like, Sundars. I consider them. Oh, consider, not guaranteed, consider. But then you put these on, and if I were just to, like, hit myself in the head with a hammer right now, and I forgot how much they weigh, how crap they're built, the proprietary cables, I'd put these in the top tier headphones you could own. That's praise. That's the praise I'd give them immediately. The intensity of sound, the intent of sound, the balance of everything, where the treble doesn't really bother me anywhere. Oh, the imaging. I just heard like buzzing go from like here to here, like the smallest little amount, while maintaining soundstage. These are amazing sounding. Build them that way. Make them $800. I'm okay with, make them $200 more and actually hire like an entire external force to take, because here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with this part. See this part? If I could just drill these hinges out or pull them out, I'm sure they just fucking pull out or something stupid. Actually, that probably unscrews there. If I could just take this and put it on an Odyssey fucking headband, it'd be like, oh, and then fix the cable connections, it'd be a $1,000 headphone. Easy. Easily competing with that sound-wise. Their sound is so... It's like in your face, but it never offends you. Like, if the lead singer of goddamn Kiss was just like right here, you might be like, but if like a beautiful opera singer was just screaming at you, you'd be like, oh, wow. That's beautiful. She's just spit hitting you in the eyeballs. 'Cause, oh, yeah. That's what these are like. They sound wide. They sound narrow. They sound detailed. They sound fucking a little warmer than something like the M1070, something like the Cindy Iva. They just have a warmth to them that I love. Are they neutral? Why would I want that? You don't pay for a car that drives average. I paid $200,000 for this car. It drives perfectly average. No. Do something exceptional. Make the low end a little bit more. Make the width a little better. Make the imaging fucking startlingly good. Don't just be average. And I'm okay with the way they sound. Really okay with it. And I keep taking them off my head because I need a break. I would love to be able to sit down and just relax, listen to Otis Taylor with a set of these on. It's just hard, physically, to do. I hope these make it to Can Jam. I'll be at Can Jam 2020 in New York. And I'll be wandering around and I'll be looking at other things, and I'm going to hope Monoprice just has, at least send these to a couple places. Because people should hear these. They should hear these too. These are probably, if you're watching this review, these are probably the ones I'd recommend you get. If you had to get one of the two. These sound better. The 1570s I'm wearing sound legitimately better than the 1070s. They go more extreme. More width, more low-end warmth, more detail. But you have to wear them with the stock pads, which makes them very wide, and they're 670 grams. And it's like, oh, fuck. And the proprietary wire, and you got to bend the metal. Don't forget to bend the headband like fucking lunatic. And it's like, So if you have to do all that, you're probably better off spending $200 less and getting a headphone that you haven't invested so much in. Or get them and literally plan to do mods to them. Like, just buy them for the, just, could you, Monoprice, can you sell me just the cups? Just the cups. Just to give me this and some pads and charge me $300, and then I could do my own thing. Because you'd be better off just taking another set of headphones, ripping apart. I might ask ZMF if I'm not keeping these, but if I was keeping them, I would just go, hey Zach, could you sell me like these and this and this whole bit? Because this is all, this is American-made shit that they've taken the time, and you've got all these like set screws, and this is beautiful, and you got to like click it up and down, and it feels permanent and nice and linear, and then this is, I'm amazed that's even metal, and the fact that it bent, it's like I could just go. Oh, now that won't fold because now it's going to squeeze against it. Let me push that down. Like, I don't understand when companies, like if something costs $100 and you went cheap, but if you spent the company's money $6 more to build said unit. So let's say the headphone costs $20 for China to make it, and then you're selling it for $100. And this one $6, like the whole headphone costs $20. If you want to add $6 of the manufacturing cost, that's absurd. However, just make the fucking headphone end price go to $106. Just literally take all that profit that you're losing and just add on to it, and then make it a better product. Instead of this being $400, make it $415. I guarantee you, if the manufacturing cost, their cost, went up $15 per set, over whatever it is, they could make the best headband on fucking earth. And you just pass it on. Now it's $415. Look how much I fixed it. Now, companies like Abyss, when you want to talk about planars that don't cut any corners, companies like Abyss, they do just what I said, where they start out with this, and they're like, well, we could do this for $6 more. Well, we could do this for $8 more. And then we could do another thing here for $23 more. And eventually you have a $5,000 headphone that has no badly built parts. But now it's a $5,000 headphone. So there is a line where you have to sort of balance how far you're willing to go to make something perfect and usable versus no one's going to buy it and it's too expensive. And I think they found a happy price point at $600 plus for this. Let me double check my... Because on Amazon, it's $618, and on Monoprice, it's $600 plus shipping, which usually turns out to be roughly the price is on Amazon. That's the way I figured it out. So it's like, okay, I get it. $600. It's where you want to go. I wish it was $620 so that they could have fixed this problem. And this problem isn't even a money problem. This problem where they fucked up the pin order is just so someone fucked up the pin order. Or fucked it up on purpose, which is even worse. I'd rather have this be due to incompetence than being pieces of shit and going, well, we could sell more of our balance cable if, we are the only one that has this particular style of fucking pin out where they reverse it. They sound so good, and I would love to have given them a full, wholehearted recommendation, because this headphone could change this could be your endgame headphone. It has that sort of sound to it. But then there are all these little fucking stabs in the ribs. And it's like, hey, do you like your headphones? I'm going to keep stabbing you a little bit. You like them, though. Oh, they're great. But, you can't use any wires but ours. And the fucking headband thing might break. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's immediately going to break. There were monoprice models that it felt like if I did this, they were going to break. But I know as I'm doing this pad is just... that's about a ½ inch bigger. I just keep wearing them, and they're just going to get... and have to keep bending. I just know what's going to happen in a year. And $600, I should not be worried about my headphones after a year of use. $600, I should not be worried about my headphones after 5 years of use. 10 years, maybe. But it's just these little nagging things that are just... I do, by the way, love the new backing. Like, they should have just done it with both. This is the standard monoprice backing, like the actual grill design. Look how nice. You could just tell this is like the nicer one, the future. They're pulling a pair yet. And it's just thicker, and it's thicker probably to accommodate the bigger magnets, because it's just so much heavier. Just you could see it's like picking like that. See, look, there's bounce and life in there because it's not that heavy, and that's just death. So, end of this story. I really like the M1070s. I think their weight's good. You got to do a couple bendy things, but at their price point, it's fine. And they use a standard 3.5mm connector, which is fine. And it comes with the pads I tell you to change it to. Comes with them. You put this on, and you just oh, they're so comfy. They're like putting on slippers with these pads. Don't try it with this because it doesn't sound as good. It's too intense. But then you put it on, it's like, oh yeah. Right at this moment, I'm recommending the M1070s. Basically, with just a couple caveats of like, well, watch out for the easily bending thing, which you kind of have to do, and you switch to the pads they come with, and then you'll be happy. These are a harder reco because they're $200 more. And the thing is, they sound it, but they didn't improve any of the other facet of it to make it worth my while. I'm Zeos. I don't just go on sound. I'm not that blind. You don't buy a headphone just for the sound. You buy a headphone for the headphone. I don't buy a car just for the speed. All right? I'm not going to tell someone to buy a top fuel dragster and then use it every day because it's the fastest. You still have to be able to get into it in the summer and maybe have air conditioning. Maybe the windows should open. Maybe it should make left turns. Maybe in the snow it should start and work. I need to look at all the fucking aspects, all the way down to that stupid fucking box, which is stupid because it's huge. Every other company that sells headphones, at this price point, you could they can go to China and be like, hey, give us a hard case. Or do like Mr. Speakers did, or even fucking Sendy and now Sivga have that like form-fitted small one. Like just give me something that's like this big so that maybe I can travel with it. That's carry-on size. And from that to the wires to the pad quality, which is I'm not upset by this. I just don't know if these are going to hold up. I also don't know if they sell them on their site. So if they don't hold up, you're boned. But everything should work. Everything for $600 should work. And it just, for these, there's like 70% of it works, and that's the sound. The other 30% are failures. I'm glad at least they make, if they have to use a proprietary stupid cable, I'm glad it has the nicest grippy 4-pole, and it's nice. It's nice, parry up nice, a little bit stiffer, but it's like, there's a whole package. You got to know what you're getting into. I'm just here to tell you what you're getting into, because you're going to put them on and you're going to love them. I don't think anyone's going to listen to these and be like, oh, these sound terrible. I'm sure there's people that have reviewed it already and said that. But they don't. They don't sound bad. They sound amazing. And they sound welcoming. I want to listen to everything on them. It's just hard from the weight. The physical weight is the biggest crutch on them right now. And the fact that it's probably going to break. And the fact that I can't switch cables is... that's less of a problem because at least the cable's nice. Sound demos, both of them in the description. I have to stop bitching about these and loving and bitching. It's a conflict. It's what makes life interesting. That's why Star Wars sucked. I'm going to start ranting about Star Wars because it sucked because there was no conflict. Or there was nothing but made-up conflicts. I'm watching the guy Mauler. Does a great thing on subjective and objective, like a whole explanation. Subjectively, I think these sound amazing. Objectively, they are built poorly. Like, no one can argue that that's the correct build. You can't. That is an objective statement. objectively, the wires don't work. That's not my opinion that the wires don't work. They don't fucking work. They don't, you can't swap them, so that's an objective statement. Subjectively, though, I think these compete with that headphone and that headphone for the way it makes me feel about music. So I'm learning all sorts of ways to use these words. That wallpaper, people love to download the backside wallpapers, and that's in the description. And her skirt's slightly see-through, but that's fine. All wallpapers are available to all my patrons and Subscribe-Star people. If you are one of those, you get access to every wallpaper I've ever used. You can then look up the artist using SauceNow or IQDB. $5 patrons also have access to the yard sale, which I don't believe Monoprice let me keep these. If they were, I'd throw them in there and people could actually bid what they are worth. This is probably still worth $600 fucking dollars, which is upsetting for me to say because of all the flaws. I've just yelled at it. But for the sound alone, I think it's worth it. And these are absolutely worth $400 because they do the best planar. I didn't even mention once the 570. Not mentioned it once. And I said last time when I reviewed that, oh, that's the best thing Monoprice makes. Wow, how did Sennheiser get in there? What Freudian slip was that? The best thing Monoprice made was the 570s. And then you know what I got 2 weeks later? These. And then I knew that was a lie. And I had to just sit here going, oh, shit. These are so much better. They both are so much better than the 570s. I'm not even about to fucking bring it up. And that's why I think I like the Iva. The 570s are the worst version of the Sendy Iva and Sivga clone. So they just don't even compete with this. This competes with it. And this competes and beats it in sound. What was I talking about? Oh, that's right. If you want to support this channel, see these videos early, up to a week to 10 days early, because patrons and Subscribe-Star subscribers, big words, get to see it early, and there won't be a run if everyone wants to complain or do it. You could do it there. You also get to ask me any questions you want on platform. So on either one of those platforms, you can message me, and I will get back to you. Usually twice a week, I check those messages because there's a lot of them. If you want more immediate answers, or you want to hang out with people who have followed me for years and either disagree with me or agree with me, because a lot of times we don't, the $10 Telegram chat is available for both supporter groups. And you get in there, and there's like 170-something people in there now, and they all have their own opinions, and I will argue with them, or I will agree with them, and then I literally told them before I started this about that wire thing. Like, that's the most important thing, is that they know first if there's a flaw in something that might be buying, because I do not want to let someone say, hey, Zeus, why didn't you tell me you had these things for weeks? And I'm like, oh, shit. So you know first, everything behind the scene, you are where I vent first is on Telegram. And the higher tiers in that just make you awesome. Anyway, I'm done. Sound demos in the description. I'll probably bring them out tomorrow and the day after. Just, I need to take a break from yelling. This 40 minutes of fucking yelling. And I'm gonna probably put these back on my head, because I want to listen to them some more. But I'm gonna hate myself doing it. How's that?